Chapter 28. Advertising. Let's learn. Types of advertising, objectives of advertising, techniques of advertising, advertising regulations. If we are able to watch television or listen to radio or read newspapers at no or low cost, its credit must go to advertisements that are published in the media. Advertisement is the most important source of revenue for the media. Advertising refers to the promotion of goods, services, companies, and ideas through a medium, usually by an identified sponsor or agent. It is a form of marketing communication used to persuade an audience to take or continue some action, usually with respect to commercial offering or political or ideological support. Advertising involves different types of media and a variety of techniques. Newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and the internet are some of the media that carry various advertisements, ads. In ancient times, the most common form of advertising was by word of mouth. However, when printing developed in the 15th century, it was only after this that advertising expanded to include handbills. In the 17th century, advertisements started to appear in weekly newspapers in England. These were used mainly to promote books and medicines. As the industry and economy expanded during the 19th century, the need for advertising also grew at the same speed. The 1960s saw advertising transform into a modern, more scientific approach in which creativity was allowed to shine, producing unexpected messages that made advertisements more tempting to consumers' eyes. The Volkswagen advertising campaign, featuring such headlines as "Think Small" and "Lemon," ushered in the era of modern advertising by promoting a position or unique selling proposition (USP) designed to associate each brand with a specific idea in the reader or viewer's mind. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw the introduction of cable television. Marketing through the internet opened new frontiers for advertisers and led to the dot-com boom of the 1990s. At the turn of 21st century, the search engine Google revolutionized online advertising by emphasizing contextually relevant, unremarkable ads intended to help rather than overwhelm users. This has led to an excess of similar efforts and an increasing trend of interactive advertising. InfoHive. The facility of advertisement can be availed of by the government departments, social and commercial organizations, and individuals to tell people about their schemes, causes, products, and other issues. Types of advertising. Advertising can be very simple and localized. It can also be very complex, involving sophisticated research and multimedia campaigns, as in the case of a product launched by a multinational company. Advertising also differs according to its audience. For example, an advertisement targeting children needs to take care of certain sensibilities, while it can be more liberal when aimed at adults. Advertising can be of different kinds: commercial for products and services, social on behalf of various social organizations, welfare programs and social causes, and political advertising in the interests of political parties. Commercial advertising. Advertising is typically designed to make consumers more aware of people, places, or products. In some cases, the advertising is used for public service, such as a campaign to make people more aware of the dangers of smoking or alcohol use. In other instances, the purpose of advertising is to arouse the interest and gain the trust of consumers. It uses a variety of media for this purpose. You can see them on billboards, printed flyers, magazines, newspapers, radio broadcasts, cinema, TV channels, web banners, stage shows, bus stop displays, sides of buses, taxi doors and roof mounts, trains, subway platforms, the reverse of tickets and receipts, and so on. Social advertising. Social advertising is used to promote awareness towards issues like environment, endangered animals, tobacco and drug addiction, etc. Social advertising relies on social information on networks in generating, targeting and delivering marketing communications. The advertising techniques used to promote commercial goods and services can also be used to inform, educate and motivate the public about non-commercial issues such as human equality, health, hygiene, energy conservation, deforestation and so on. Many current examples of social advertising use a particular internet service to collect social information for establishing and maintaining relationships with consumers and for communications. Social institutions including religious and voluntary organizations use advertising to communicate certain messages to the public. These may include messages of faith, compassion, service, charity towards the needy, health, education, patriotism, tolerance and so on. Political advertising. Political advertising involves the use of advertising by politicians to bring their messages to the masses. It is one of the means by which political parties, candidates and other socially active groups reach out to people, especially during the time of elections. Political advertising in the form of posters, handbills, wall writings, radio and TV messages. Politicians promote their parties to grab the attention of the electorate. Politicians promote their parties to grab the attention of the electorate. Unlike commercial advertising where products are promoted, political advertising promotes individuals. Political parties view elections strategically, so political ads communicate political issues to the public. These ads encourage people to vote for a particular candidate using various strategies, as they play a key role in any election. Brain tickler. Why do you think social advertisements are important for a developed country? InfoHive. The objectives of Advertising Standards Council of India (ASCI) are to make sure that advertisers and advertisements are truthful and honest, not offensive, not hazardous to society and fair with competitors. Objectives of advertising. Advertisements are designed to introduce certain concepts. They must also be convincing. An important object of advertising is to increase the demand for the product, to make approaches more favorable to a particular product, to build an image for the product, to stop existing users turning to competitive products, to create a brand leader to help the launch of additional products at a future date, to win back previous product users who have defected to a competitive product, to expand the whole market. Effective advertising increases the demand for a product and the brand. This is called brand building. To increase sales among existing users and to improve the frequency of purchase. To keep new competitors out of the market. To convey the idea that the product is value for money. Keep the organization in public eye, called institutional advertising. To maintain brand distribution. Once the brand is well established, it enjoys the ability to draw customers even without further advertising, and it is said to have a brand franchise. The brand name becomes a general term referring to that product. Techniques of advertising. Today, every company needs to advertise its product to inform the customers about the product, increase the sales, acquire market value and gain reputation and name in the industry. Every business spends a lot of money for advertising their products, but the money spent will lead to success only when the best techniques of advertising are used for the product. So here are some very common and most extensively used techniques employed by the advertisers to get desired results. Slogan. A catchy phrase or statement often used to sell a service or a product. Repetition. Some advertisers simply attempt to make people remember the brand name through repetition. It makes the product or service familiar to consumer. Bandwagon. This type of technique involves convincing the customers to join the group of people who have bought this product and be on the winning side. Advertisers try to convince buyers to get on the bandwagon or miss out. Testimonials. Advertisers often attempt to promote their product through the recommendations of actual users, experts, or both. For example, 3 out of 4 dentists recommend. Pressure. By attempting to make people choose quickly and without long consideration, some advertisers hope to make rapid sales. For example, buy now, before they're all gone. Appeal to emotions. This technique of advertising is done with the help of 2 factors, needs of consumers and fear factor. Most common appeals under need are need for something new, for getting acceptance, for not being ignored, for change of old things, for security, need to become attractive, etc. Most common appeals under fear are fear of accident, death, fear of being avoided, getting sick, getting old, etc. Association advertising. Advertisers try to associate their product with some desirable images in order to make it seem equally desirable. The use of attractive models and attractive landscapes is common. Advertising regulations. The term advertising regulations refers to the laws and rules defining the ways in which products can be advertised in a particular region. It has an impact on how people understand themselves, their life, and the world. Our advertising must give customers the whole picture. It must be factual, all discounts must be genuine, and the overall impression of our advertising must not be misleading. We must also be aware of the laws about running competitions and promotions. There is nothing good or bad about advertising as such. While it can give beneficial results, it can also impact individuals and the society negatively. Brain tickler. Why do we need regulations in advertising? There have been efforts by the government to protect public interest by regulating the content and the reach of advertising. 2 of the most highly regulated forms of advertising are tobacco advertising and alcohol advertising. Advertising can play a significant role in the process of human development. It can contribute to the betterment of society by motivating people to act in ways that benefit themselves and others. Consumer protection. Everyone is a consumer as we pay for different products and services. The protection of rights and interests of consumers is called consumer protection. In order to protect the interests of the consumers, the government has enacted a law called the Consumer Protection Act in 1986. Several consumer courts at the national, state and district levels have been established. These courts look into the complaints of consumers against business companies. Recap. Advertising refers to the promotion of goods, services, companies and ideas through a medium, usually by an identified sponsor or agent. Advertising can be of different kinds: commercial, social and political. The brand name becomes a general term referring to that product. Appeals to fears and needs are often used in public service messages and products. Advertisements can contribute to the betterment of society by motivating people to act in ways that benefit themselves and others.